So we have 1 minute before we can start. Should we start early so we can be done, spend more time in conversations?
I have something for you, Senator, that I will send you.
Sure. Do I have to look at it right now or can look at it later?
Now, if you could. It's helpful for the meeting. Good afternoon, Representative Boyd. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking.
It's lovely to see you too.
It is lovely to be seen.
Hi, Jamie. I see you all the time, but it's still nice to see you.
How's it going?
I think I'm the only one in person today, so this is funny.
I'm right upstairs. I can come down. I just was going to be popping between two computer meetings, so I figured I'd stay.
Come on, but if you want to come hang, I'm here.
All right, I'll head down in a little bit.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair, do you want me to run the meeting or you're gonna tell me?
Sure. Absolutely. Do we have, it's hard for me to tell who we have. I don't think we have any of the Republicans. So why don't we wait, give them
Okay.
a couple of minutes?
Perfect. And how long are we gonna keep the votes open?
Jean, how long should we keep votes open? Are there any rules about? No. So he's like, no.
Hopefully till 5.
We are thinking 4:30, but we have to see how long it goes.
Okay. And I have a housing JF meeting as well at 4 o'clock. So I may go in, I have to speak about one bill.
Okay, so for the, I believe that we're already live, but before we even gavel in, since we are in separate areas, I will let you know that if you want to throw it to me on the JFS language for everything but 1 and 2, I've got your back.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Senator Saud Anwar, representing the 3rd Senate District, including the towns of East Hartford, South Windsor, Ellington, and East Windsor. We are going to convene the meeting for the children. This is close to 3 p.m. We are partially in room 1B and also via Zoom and on YouTube Live at this time as well. This is a remote meeting with some in-person presence as well. And today we are going to be looking at some of the bills. I'm looking forward to a good conversation and effective, efficient meeting. I just want to mention to everyone, there are multiple meetings happening at the same time. So as a result of that, you may see people come in and out. And that's why we will try to keep the votes open. As of right now, we are thinking to keep the votes open till 4:30, and we will reassess the timeline. And I will pass the mic on to my esteemed chair, co-chair Representative Liz Lenahan, for remarks.
Thank you very much, Senator. It is always an honor to be your co-chair. And so this brings us to what is hopefully going to be our last JF meeting. And we've got some really great bills on the agenda, and absolutely we're going to be thanking our staff. But Mr. Co-Chair, if you would indulge me for just a minute, I would like to give an official goodbye to my friend, Representative Robin Green, who has been on this committee for a while. She was my ranking member when we first came in. Representative Green, I'd like to make a public declaration that you, ma'am, have been wonderful on this committee. Your knowledge, your empathy, and all of your hard work has made so many of our bills better. You've made it you've made us really able to protect children in a way that I don't know if you had not been here, I would have understood some of the implications of what we had done. So I just want to take a minute and say that my heart is broken that you're not running again. And I told you that privately. So it's broken that you're not running again. But quite honestly, I will never forget the amount of work that you've put into this committee and how you've made this committee what it is today, because this committee is taking on some hardy issues. And I think you had a great hand in that. So I want to say thank you very much for all of your work and for your time. And I hope to continue our friendship. Do you want to say a few words, Rep. Green?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, it's been a pleasure working on this committee. You know, I've worked with kids for over 40 years, the Village for Families and Children. I've worked at CRAC, and having 3 child care centers myself. It's something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. And this was just such an easy committee to be on. And it was just so easy to work with you and everyone else. And we've done some really great things. But thank you for your kind words. I'm blushing over here. Thank you. And I can always be a reference and a support of whatever you need. And yes, we will continue our friendship. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And I just, for the record, I want to state that you have said it's okay if I contact you. So when I keep calling and texting, you can't hold it against me.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And back to you, Mr. Co-Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I need to second that motion, or we just?
Oh, second that emotion.
No, yes. Emotion and emotion. Thank you so much, Representative Green. And I don't know if we should say congratulations or we should say thank you. And
enjoy retirement.
Hopefully you will. Yes.
Thank you, Senator.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I see Representative Dauphinee is there as well. Representative Dauphinee, on to you for remarks.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you, Robin, for all your contributions to this committee. We so appreciate it. I know in caucus you've really helped us through a lot as well. So we do appreciate it, and we will miss you. So thank you. I'm having a little of technical problems today, so forgive me if I'm on my phone and it may go all over the place. So forgive me. Thank you.
And on to Senator Kelly. I see Senator Kelly is here as well. And there's a chance he's multitasking like many of us are. So whenever Senator Kelly wants to have any remarks, he's welcome for that. And I will just want to do, as usually at the beginning of the meeting, I wanted to thank Jean Rienzo for her strong work in helping and coordinating everything for us. Thank you, Jean. And other members of the team, OLR, Jessica Callahan, and Office of Legislative Research, Michelle Kirby, and for OFA, Rachel Della Pietra, and our LCO, Sarah O'Connor, and Chris Cordima. Thank you so much for all that you do. And we would not be here without your commitment and coordination. And then we thank you for that. And then moving on to the next item on the agenda, we have some bills that we have to address. The first bill, I will entertain a motion to take SB, an act expanding preschool and mental and behavioral services for children. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And I will second it. So it's been moved and seconded. And I think what I can do is,
That's a motion to
Pardon me?
JF this bill?
Sorry, yes, it's a motion. Thank you, Sarah. See, motion to JF the bill, and she said it so politely. SB2 and the JF SB2 enact expanding preschool and mental and behavioral services for children. And Representative Linehan, you're still willing to move that?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you. And I'm going to second that as well. And before we take any comments, it's probably worthy to talk a little bit about this in the interest of everyone who's interested to know what this is about. There are about 45 sections in this bill. And one way we can explain this bill is that this is actually an aircraft carrier bill. In shorter sessions, sometimes using a larger bill and then having a number of relevant bills, putting them together can make things more efficient. But there are very important core things to the bill. There, as most of you have heard and continue to hear, that this session, some of the most important things that will happen across all different committees, maybe the work on children's mental health. This bill is also about children's mental health, and I know Representative Linehan and many of my colleagues have been working on both the bills. The bill that SB2 is, I would call it partially a primary prevention bill. And then there is a secondary and tertiary prevention with 5001. And SB2 has been done in collaboration with the Senate Democrats and Senate Republicans and putting all the ideas of everybody together to try and come up with a way to address the needs of our community. So it's a bipartisan effort, putting the intellectual capital of many of the people who have been serving the community to put them in a way to be able to help out our children. So first component of the bill, which is critical, is about child care workers in child care centers. The pandemic has impacted the child care centers and the child care workers arguably amongst the industries quite significantly. There's so many industries that have been impacted and arguably decimated, and this particular one has been impacted as well. And this bill is going to look at Section 1, increases the school readiness grant and increases the dollar amount for the grant from $9,027 to $14,500. Section 2 is, again, making sure that the $300 of the grant are going to go towards wages. Section 3 is a grant for infants and toddlers as child development centers at $16,000. Section 4 is to have a wage increase for the child care workers. That is the workers in the state of Connecticut. And that's part of our effort. And the other next Section 5 is something that our Democrat and Republican colleagues, but the Republican colleagues had looked at how we can look at a pipeline for Connecticut's future programs to assist Board of Education in offering a pathway program for occupational licenses, apprenticeships, and to job skill classes. So that's part of that as well. And then Section 6 talks about DCF will have mobile crisis centers operating 24/7. And there is a grant that has been set to look at the social determinants of mental health fund. We sometimes look at mental health in isolation, but sometimes our environment and the social determinants can lead to mental health issues. And in order to resolve them, we need resources and to be able to address the social determinants. So this bill is going to address that part as well. Section 8 is looking at the mental health for athletes. That is a subgroup which has specific needs and identifying the best management, crisis intervention, mitigating risk, and transitioning athletes out of sports is something that is needed and being identified in this arena for how we can do a better job in protecting our youth athletes. And then looking at how we would be able to work on one of the plans Representative Linehan had talked about was the Esprit program that is currently in this bill as well, to try and have local health departments training for adolescent screening, brief intervention and referral to treatment that can be offered to the local health department and youth services bureaus, municipalities and departments, police departments as well, and trying to identify early intervention of some of the children who will need intervention for opioid or other addiction issues. And then a section of the bill, Representative Farrar and some of our colleagues in the House have worked very diligently to work at menstrual products and their availability. And there's a bill, that bill we will be working with our colleagues, Representative Farrar and her associates, to bring it over to 5272 bill into SB2. So you will see a number of sections relating to that. And then we are looking at other parts of the bill are looking at the impact of social media. So we are using the NEAG school at UConn shall study the impact of social media and mobile telephone usage on mental health of students K through 12, shall evaluate social media phone use on the mental health and climate, school climate and educational experiences, shall submit report to by January 2024 to Kids and Public Health Committee. And this is, again, our colleagues from the Senate Republican office had recommended that this should be part of the bill, and it is incorporated there as well. And we're looking and we're collaborating with the Office of Early Childhood. Readiness Council shall conduct a necessary needs assessment for early childhood education and look at opportunities for early childhood education plans. There's a part on optional tax abatement for property taxes that the municipalities, if they choose to, give to childcare centers, because this industry is going through challenging times, and sometimes some of the municipalities, recognizing the value, may want to provide some of that support. And then there's a part on the regulation, which is the item number 2 on today's agenda is something that is going to be incorporated within this bill, which is about the notification of parents and Office of Early Childhood about incidents in childcare centers. We want to make sure that if there's an incident, there is a responsibility to inform the parents, and it's codified, and also a written report so that we can keep track of what's going on, and also keeping track of some of the video evidence as well, if that is available. So that was part of the bill, and using this opportunity to talk about that as section 2 to save bill number 2 to save time as well, which is the item number 2 on our agenda. And talking about the Children's Behavioral Health Cabinet, which will be having coordination between the different agencies to look at children's behavioral health, and then having meetings where the Department of Children and Families will be coordinating with other agencies and provide a quarterly report to the committees, public health, as well as kids and insurance. So now we are down to section 25. And beyond this, section 27, 28, and 29 are looking at the storage guidelines. We are going to make sure that some of the medicines, which could be dangerous for the children, there are storage guidelines that would be there to educate family members or people using the medications to protect them from children. And also having a plan of action if somebody is in hospice, how to appropriately dispose of the controlled substances as part of a situation where the medicines are left and then we take care of those so that they're not lying around for endangering our children. There's a whole child task force that has done some amazing work. We are indebted to them, and we want them to continue the work for one more year at this time. And we are also looking at how we can get Husky to reimburse the MSWs working under psychologists and LCSWs. That is, again, some of our colleagues had recommended that to be part of it. The other parts are about the funding that are associated with the various components of the bill that I have spoken of. So this is a shorter version of this bill that I wanted to share with everyone, and would love to entertain any questions or comments at this time. And I see Representative Dauphinais has a question or comment. Thank you, Representative Dauphinais. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate all the work that everybody's done into these big omnibus bills, or aircraft carriers as they call them. And I'll just point out a few things, because while I do appreciate the interest and passion to support and help children with mental health, I do have a few problems with the bill. And that's what I struggle with some of these huge bills. That you may not, be on board with certain sections. I know section 4 and section 8, I believe both, do things that kind of turn things over. One is, I think, to the commissioner, kind of gives the commissioner power and bypasses the legislature. And so the same in section 8, section 7, which the DCF gets a special fund. And again, the commissioner gets to determine eligibility criteria, bypassing the legislative input and comment by the public. I kind of struggle with those things. I think that we need to kind of have a grasp on those and as a legislature be able to always weigh in. And I did have a question on section 8. It says it calls for the Department of Ed and DCF and the local health departments to do screening for mental health, but by whom? It didn't say by whom. Maybe you can answer that question for me.
Sure. This is going to be by the Department of Education being the lead agency in that.
So that would be the Department of Education, not necessarily a psychologist or a professional doing the mental health screening. That's what I'm.
Sorry, I do not understand your question. Thank you, Representative Dauphine, for that question. The Department of Education will coordinate with experts to be able to find, actually there is recommended, this is a pretty standardized thing that is happening already. We wanted to codify this, and we know that a lot of parts of the country, and even right now in Connecticut, they are actually using standardized, well-identified ways of assessing health or mental health of the athletes. And that's what we are asking an agency to take on that responsibility.
So it doesn't really identify who will be doing the screening, I guess, was my question and point. Is that correct?
You mean within the schools or within the athletic
Yes.
departments? Is it going to be the coaches and something to that effect? Yeah.
Exactly, like who it will be, correct.
Yeah, I can answer that. And I just also want to make sure that, as you know, many of these bills that we are looking at are changing. So some of this language and conversation that we are having will change and then get better further going forward. In the shorter session, we are trying to address all the issues that we have to address. So we are going to be looking at some of the language in more detail. I'm going to just see if there's a specific language and to get a specific answer to your question. It's got about 60 pages, so we'll look at that right now. I think.
I don't want to hold up the vote. I just wanted to point out a couple things. And the other thing I wanted to point out is the menstrual products that they're trying to initiate. I always struggle with making things a statewide mandate versus having local entities handle these situations. Every school is different. Their bathroom situation's different. How they have nurses set up in the school is different. I really believe this should be a local issue and not a statewide mandate. And so I struggle with that piece of the bill. I know it came up in public health as well. And as you all know, that this bill has a very, very big price tag with some of it with ARPA funds, but those will end. And then oftentimes it's hard to say no to a program that's already in existence. So I'm concerned with the cost down the road, but I appreciate the efforts put into this, but I will be a no on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Dauphine. I see Representative Boyd has raised his hand. So Representative Boyd, please.
Thank you, Senator. I just wanted to say, with these larger bills, I understand that they are very much a work in progress and conceptually, right, we want to get all to the same area. And I'm sure it's there, but the commitment that the co-chairs have to continue to take feedback and tweak these as we get to that spot that works. So, when it comes to, and I'll say this just once, the number of the bills that are here that are quite large, that they are work in progress. I recognize that. And we keep working out the kinks and the bumps in the road and to get it to a really good spot when it comes from there. So I appreciate I committed for you, but I appreciate your commitment to keep taking some feedback as we dig deeper into this. So thank you, Senator.
Representative Boyd, not only for this bill, for every bill and beyond. So thank you for that. And Representative Comey.
Thank you, Chairman Anwar. I just wanted to talk briefly about the really, really critical and important piece of this bill that we have been working for years to finally get some investments in, and that is the early childhood education part. I mean, working parents really have long struggled to find affordable quality childcare in our state and certainly across the country. And for our working parents, I mean, access to childcare is really the key ingredient to be able to go back to return to the workforce. It was certainly an issue pre-pandemic. It's been exacerbated by the pandemic, closures to in-person schooling and childcare centers and all of that we've gone through. And that's really resulted in a significant lack of spaces, but also lack of available workers and employees for childcare centers. And we here really are going to need to focus on high quality, affordable childcare systems that allow the parents to enter and re-enter and stay in the workforce. So I just want to underscore how important childcare is to our economy and not only to the education of our kids. We've been doing a lot of great work for years in this state with a focus on distributing funds throughout the pandemic in an equitable manner to childcare providers to keep them afloat. But this is really going to be critical to continue to be able to provide childcare across the state. So addressing the true cost of childcare, this is a start, it's a move in the right direction, and providing living wages for our educators and to make the businesses sustainable. This is a significant move in that right direction, and I'm just thrilled to see that it is part of this SB2, and I will enthusiastically cast my vote yes in favor of that. So thank you so much for your work on this.
Thank you so much, Representative Comey. Thank you for your comments and highlighting the challenges that childcare workers have had post-pandemic and prior to the pandemic for that matter, but it's really worsened. And that is the first domino that falls when young parents cannot work when their children do not have care at that time. So thank you for your comments. And I have Senator Kelly. Thank you, Senator Kelly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I just wanted to make the statement that our caucuses have been working together with regards to Senate Bill 2. I know that all caucuses want to do something in the area of mental health this session. And while this may not be a finished product, it is a work in process, because we continue those dialogues, and I think they're necessary to creating good policy. So although there are some issues on here that I may not like, I will be voting yes, because we are working on this collaboratively together. And so I want to keep the process going. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to thank you for your leadership and the caucus's leadership to come together and give the best ideas to make the best product going forward. Thank you so much. With seeing any comments, any questions, seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you care to have a roll call vote for us?
Of course. So this is Senate Bill 2,
Two.
an act expanding preschool and mental and behavioral services for children. Representative Linehan,
Representative Linehan votes yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Welander,
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphinais,
Representative Dauphinais votes no.
Senator Kelly.
Kelly votes yes.
Senator Kelly, would you just mind repeating yourself?
Sure. Kelly votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Boyd,
Representative Boyd, aye.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Foster,
Representative Foster votes yes.
Representative Green,
Representative Green votes yes.
Representative Lanu,
Representative Lanu votes no.
Senator Cohen, Senator Moore.
Senator
Representative,
Moore votes yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Khan.
Representative Khan votes yes.
Representative, can you just repeat yourself, please?
Yes. Representative Khan votes yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll keep the votes open till 4:30, and we may change that timeline depending on how long the conversation goes. The next item on the agenda is item number 2. I will entertain a motion to JS SB 122, an act requiring parental notification by child care facilities of certain incidents involving children, LCO number 3360. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. I think that's Representative Foster, I believe, right?
It
Good.
was.
Okay, thank you. See, I can now recognize the voice if I don't see you. So, and is there a second?
Second by Moore.
Oh, perfect. And any discussion? I think for the explanation, I did touch on the explanation, so that's pretty straightforward. If there is, can I have a motion to have a consent calendar, create a consent calendar?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second as well. And all those in favor, they can say aye.
Aye.
And aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions, nays?
Aye.
Seeing, thank you. And then we have a consent calendar. If there is for item number 2, Madam Chair, sorry, not Madam Chair, but we can actually move item number 2 to consent calendar. Any objections? Seeing none, item number 2 is on consent calendar. For the time being, I'm just going to jump to number 4 and go to number 5 and 9 and 11. If you would allow me to jump around a little bit, that's because I think some of these items are consentable. So I wanted to take care of the consentable items as we go through them. I'll take item number 4. I would entertain a motion to JFS HB number 5238, an act concerning the provision of temporary Husky coverage and medical assistance to certain minors, JFS LCO 3373. Madam Chair, do you want to give a little bit of a background? And I think Representative Dauphinais had a comment.
Absolutely. Thank
You're
you very
mute.
much, Mr. Co-Chair. Oh, I am on. Okay. Yeah, this bill, we are talking about item number 4, an act concerning the provision of temporary Husky coverage. The substitute language in here actually has changed, where it's no longer about Medicaid or Husky coverage. We have now changed this to read as, and I'm just going to pull it up. Since we bounced around, it's not right in front of me. So if you look quickly in section 1, lines 15 and 16, we added an incident of child abuse or neglect substantiated by the Department of Children and Families. And then overall, what this bill did is we changed it from Medicaid to the Office of the Victim Services. So currently there is a program that is administered by the Office of Victim Services that allows for out-of-pocket coverage for victims of certain crimes, out-of-pocket reimbursement rather, for victims of certain crimes. And what we're doing is we are adding child abuse or neglect substantiated by the Department of Children and Families. So it's already an existing program and we're just widening it. And I hope that that gives enough information about the substitute language, Mr. Co-Chair, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Madam Co-Chair, and Representative Dauphinais for your comment or question.
Thank you so much, Senator Anwar. And I just want to make a brief comment that it's the process in which these cases are substantiated through DCF that I always struggle with. I will be supporting this bill to get it out of committee, but I still do struggle with that process. So I just wanted to make that note, but thank you so much for the time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rep. Dauphiné. I would like to mention that I appreciate that greatly because this is truly not about substantiation, and I understand your issues and concerns, and you've had them for years. But what this will actually do is, regardless of whether we believe that it should be substantiated or not, there are still children who desperately need help. And so what this simply would do is help those children who have high deductible health plans or no health coverage. It would essentially get them the counseling services that they need. So it really doesn't speak to your concerns with that. So I very, very much appreciate you voting to get this out of committee. And I really look forward to having continuing conversations with you about that. Thank you.
All right, if there's no objection, we'll move item number item number 4 to the consent calendar. Seeing none, item number 4 is going to be in consent calendar. I would entertain a motion to take item number 5 to JFS HB number 5155, an act concerning the safe storage of cannabis products, and prescription drugs, LCO number 3384. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Excellent. And second, so moved by Representative Linehan and seconded by Representative Foster. And Senator Kelly has a question. Representative Linehan, do you want to give a brief update, or should I? Actually, I think I may have talked about it in SB2, so might as well have Senator Kelly ask his question or comment. Senator Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's more of a comment than anything. While I think this is a good intention, my one concern here is the fact that we need this. Last year, when we had the recreational marijuana debate and the bill passed, I am surprised that these protections weren't put in place to begin with. What's also concerning to me is that we did raise these issues during the debate, and the Department of Consumer Protection at the time was silent, as were many child advocates. And I do have a concern that we're going to trust somebody that didn't see the issue to begin with kind of cleaning up the issue subsequent. That stated, these protections were warranted then, they're warranted now. And I'll be supporting the bill because we need to get our arms around this issue, because too many children are getting their hands on cannabis because they're showing up as gummies and other type of candy products and edibles. And so I think it's necessary. I'll be supporting it, but I am concerned about DCP. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Kelly. Representative Linehan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair. I would like to actually echo the sentiments of Senator Kelly. I really appreciate, Senator, that you brought that up. I do want to just say that within that legislation last year, we certainly did look at edibles, and we put in some protections. But I agree with you that there needs to be more done. And I just want to give a little bit of information regarding the substitute language here so that people who are not on the committee, they're watching, they understand. Originally, we had talked about a provision of information that would be given with every prescription, every medical marijuana prescription, every opioid prescription, every prescription period, and that it would also be given at every point of sale for recreational marijuana when dispensaries open. This has since been changed after speaking to some of the pharmacists, and we were talking about the possible cost of that. So we think that we found a really great way to make this happen, and that would include posting signage at the place of purchase that would specifically state that it's a danger to children, and that's why safe storage is required. And then also we would have that same warning printed on the receipt of anything purchased over the counter, when it comes to recreational marijuana. And then additionally, we would have that same information put on the information that is given with every prescription. So it would not really cost anything extra in terms of paper or printing. It's really just something that's already in effect, and we would put that added extra information on it on the front of the packaging. So that, I believe, is going to be helpful and extremely important. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone recognized what the substitute language did. So thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you so much. Seeing no other comments or questions, if there's no objection, we'll move item number 5 to the consent calendar. Any objections? Seeing none, we will move on to the next item. That is item number 9. I will entertain a motion to JFS item number 9, SB 123, an act expanding eligibility for the address confidentiality program. The LCO number 3362. Do we have, okay, yeah, good. And the second, is there a second?
Second.
Second by, okay, so we have 2 seconds. We have by Representative Wieslander and also by Representative Foster. So we'll do a second and a third. And then we will, I see Representative Dauphiné has a comment or a question. Go ahead, Representative Dauphiné, please.
Thank you again, Senator. I do have a question and a comment. I know that this has a lot of programming and requirements of the Department of Education with regard to the bill. Have the schools been in agreement with the training that will be implemented? I don't know that I ever got that answer, but was the Department of Education in agreement with all of these implementations?
So I can tell you the purpose of the bill. So it's the statement of purpose of the bill is to permit victims of kidnapping and human trafficking and children who are the subject of petitions to terminate parental rights granted by the court to participate in the address confidentiality program established in the Office of the Secretary of State. So I think the schools will have a responsibility to address that because of the situation that these children would be in. I don't know if that answers.
I think I might
Go
have
ahead,
been.
Representative Linehan.
Sorry, I think I might have been confusing this with another one, but my comment to this would just be, again, the process in which the substantiation goes through DCF. And I know Representative Linehan did a description a few minutes ago, which I do appreciate, but I just wanted to make that point. But I will be voting to pass this out of committee. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Representative Linehan, you wanted to add something?
Sure. I'll just say briefly, once again, thank you, Representative Dauphiné, for understanding that essentially there are 2 separate issues at bay, and that understandably your concern about an abuse and neglect registry is one thing, but this bill itself actually only takes people who have been victims of certain crimes, including kidnapping, trafficking in persons, and a petition or had a petition filed on such a person's behalf for the termination of parental rights, and some restraining orders and such, that they can partake already, they could partake in this program that is already set. So we're just widening it. And basically what happens is you put in, you contact the Secretary of State, you give them your address, they then give you an address of this program. At that time, you use that as your address and have your mail forwarded there, so that your information remains anonymous in as many places as we can make that happen. As we know, it's very easy on the web right now to find out anyone's information. And I think even legislators understand that, that we've also often been told that someone's going to come and knock on our door and talk to us about something they don't agree with. So if you can just imagine how uncomfortable that would make you feel as a legislator, then imagine how uncomfortable that would make you feel as a parent whose child has been abused by someone outside the home. So that is the reason why we're opening that up, simply for address confidentiality for families who do worry about the safety of their children and their family based on those new crimes. And I hope that that answers some questions regarding the substitute language. Thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you so much for your comments. And I have Representative Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to sort of add, as we talk about this bill, that there is very little that I feel often that I can do to make the life of victims in our community better after a child trafficking incident occurred in our community. This is a very small additional level of protection that we can offer these victims of child sex trafficking. 3.5 years ago, when an arrest was made of someone in our community who is trafficking children, this became a big point of conversation that everyone felt like our lives are very transparent and openly accessible. And for the parents whose children were placed in this incredibly horrifying situation, and for those who are victims of this specific incident and any other like it, I feel like this is a very small effort that we could do to add this type of victim to this opportunity to have their name and address protected. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to vote this bill out of committee and hopefully pass it on the floor of the House and then see its way through the Senate or vice versa. But it's great to have an opportunity to be able to do something, because for the last 3.5 years, I, like very many members of the community in Ellington, have been grappling with what we do to support victims of these horrific and heinous crimes. And I am glad to have something to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Representative Foster. Thank you for your leadership as well. And seeing no other questions or comments, is there any objection to move item number 9 to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item number 9 will be on the consent calendar. And I'll jump on to item number 11. I will entertain a motion to JFS at item number 11, SB 208, an act concerning social media and parental consent, LCO 2919, to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And is there a second? I'll second it. Okay, I couldn't hear. There probably somebody else did. And motion has been made and seconded. Yes, Representative Linehan, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Representative Carpino and Representative O'Day. This bill did come from them, and the original language we felt, and we talked about it in the public hearing, that just simply changing the age of consent on a checkbox for using social media, my kid could get around that in a hot second. So we talked about that and figured out ways that maybe we can actually make this a little easier to keep our kids safe online. And so the substitute language actually requires that a parent will have an ability to contact the social media company to say, I'm the parent of this child and you must take that down. Take down their account because they are not of age, and the company has 10 days to comply, and there must be an ease of use to do that, and they have to develop it. We're leaving it open to decide how the companies want to do that. I think that this is a necessary first step, and it was an absolute pleasure coming to agreement on this. There are some other things that we are considering possibly for next session that would need kind of a deeper dive. But I think that this is a very great first step, and that is what's in the substitute language. So thank you, Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you so much. Seeing no other questions or comments, any objection to moving this to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item number 11 is in the consent calendar. So at this time, we can do a roll call vote on the consent calendar. I will list the items that are on this consent calendar for everybody's benefit. Item number 2, SB 122, an act requiring parental notification by child care facilities of certain incidents involving children. Item number 4, HB 5238, an act concerning the provision of temporary Husky coverage and medical assistance to certain minors. Item number 5, HB 5155, an act concerning the safe storage of cannabis products and prescription drugs. Item number 9, SB 123, an act expanding eligibility for the address confidentiality program. And item number 11, SB 208, an act concerning social media and parental consent. So, Madam Clerk, we can do a roll call vote. Thank you.
A motion has been made and seconded to JFS, the 5 items on the consent calendar. Representative Linehan?
Representative Linehan votes yes.
Senator Anwar?
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Welander?
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphiné?
Representative Dauphiné votes yes.
Senator Kelly?
Senator Kelly votes yes.
I'm sorry, Senator, could you do that again?
Senator Kelly votes yes.
Gotcha. Representative Boyd?
Representative Boyd, aye.
Thank you. Representative Comey?
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Foster?
Representative Foster votes yes.
Representative Green?
Representative Green votes yes.
Representative Lanu?
Representative Lanu votes yes.
Senator Cohen? Senator Moore?
Senator Moore votes yes.
Sorry, Senator, if you try again.
Senator Moore votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Khan?
Representative Khan votes yes.
Thank you. That's everyone.
The next item on the agenda is item number 3. I will entertain a motion to JFS item number 3, HB 5243, an act concerning adult sexual misconduct, LCO 3392. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And
Second.
is there a second? Is I think Representative Foster, correct?
No, Senator Moore.
Senator Moore.
It's okay.
Thank you, Senator Moore. I'm lost between the virtual and the in person. And is there any discussion, Madam Chair? Do you want to give a little background of the JFS language, and we'll take a comment or a question from Representative Dauphiné after that?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair. I will briefly go over the substitute language and what has changed in this bill. And then I will be happy to answer substantive questions from our House ranking member. In section 2, we added the Department of Children and Families to help update the questions on the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. And honestly, that information, so sections 1, 2, and 3, and actually 4, were always, this was the exact bill that we passed out of the House last year. We passed out of this committee and passed out of the House. We added it to here because ultimately it wasn't called in the Senate. But as we had a discussion with the department, it became very clear that the department actually has people who are trained in the appropriate questioning of children. And we wanted to make sure that those people were involved in the development of these questions so as not to trigger or re-traumatize children. So their addition is actually, it seems like a very small bit, but I think it's extremely important. And I want to thank the department for your willingness to do so. Additionally, in section 4, we originally had, we named the licensed clinical social workers within the school, and we've changed that to read school-based mental health personnel who will have that training and who will also be known as available for the provision of counseling services for students should a positive screen come about from the youth risk behavior survey. Additionally, we completely removed section 10, which was the language regarding investigative training. We heard the issues and concerns from many with the fact that nobody should be doing any sort of investigation unless they are trained in how to do so. And while the idea behind it was not to investigate children, the idea behind it was to investigate possible perpetrators. We now recognize through the public hearing process and conversations offline that in fact those questions are equally as important, and sometimes those investigations would turn to children. So therefore we deemed that it was inappropriate to keep that language continued in the bill. Additionally, sections 14, 15, and 16 takes the language from the Office of the Child Advocate, who has conducted investigations, excuse me, and if the committee will remember, those investigations were not necessarily made public before the original writing of this bill, but once the public hearing came about, they were actually made public. We have then taken some of those suggestions, reworked them a little bit. Section 14, OCA had recommended that local districts develop a framework and policy for addressing adult sexual misconduct in schools. We've actually looked to make that a little bit easier on local districts, and we've asked the State Department of Education in conjunction with the Department of Children and Families to create that framework and then distribute it to local boards of ed to adopt. So that is extremely helpful. Additionally, we have added language regarding the bystander training. So the bystander training and appropriate interaction with children training program described in section 4 and the victim sensitivity training program will be allowed to be used within in-service training at local school boards' discretion. And there wouldn't necessarily have to be a separate training for those purposes. And with that, Mr. Co-Chair, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. Representative Daphne.
Thank you, Senator. Just one quick question and a comment, but I think I got this question mixed up with the other bill. I just wondered, the Department of Education was cooperative in the implementation of these actions and policies that will be taking place. I think I understand that is correct. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you very much for that question, Representative. Their testimony read that they already do such things. And so in that sense, we would be codifying that. There are slight changes regarding how the department would have to work on these programs. However, we have not made them, in my lingo, I would say first chair. We've made them second chair. So so it would really be mostly done by the Department of Children and Families in consultation with the Board of Education. So the onus is really put on DCF, as DCF is the department who works on the mandated reporter training. So so it is my best understanding that the State Department of Education would be supportive of the proposed substitute language.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. And one of the problems I have with this bill is the opting out I always don't like the opting out. I prefer the opting in. So parents would have to opt out. Otherwise, the child would be given the survey, as I understand it. And I've always argued the opposite for this. I think parents should be able to opt in and understand what their child's going to be participating in, and given the option of signing a form that would say that they are allowed to do it, versus having to sign a form that says that they will not be able to do it. So I will be a no on this, but I thank you for your answers to my question and your work on this.
Oh, thank you very much, Representative. But I would like to address that concern that you had, if I may. This language, or rather this questionnaire, has actually been utilized by districts for over 20 years, I think close to 30. It is a national survey through the CDC, and at such time, there has never been an opt-in. And as a matter of fact, there hasn't even been anything in statute regarding an opt-out. So this language allowing an opt-out was one that was negotiated in a bipartisan fashion on the floor of the House of Representatives last year. And I, I will leave Representative Foster to explain exactly why it's important that we actually don't have an opt-in. But I just wanted to say that essentially this is better in terms of parental consent than it ever has been for the last 3 decades or so. And the department, according to last year, as of last year, when we were debating this on the floor of the House, the Department of Public Health has never actually received any complaints about this questionnaire. So that's my answer for you. And thank you, Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you, Representative Foster.
I'll just quickly say that for those of us who are in public health, for the day yesterday, we heard lots of mention about a particular data set, data analysis that's done using this data set. And one of the things that would happen if you had an opt-in versus opt-out is you would end up with a certain type of person whose parents would consent for their enrollment, and you would no longer have a nationally representative data set. So by it being conducted in this format, you end up with a data set that your findings can be used to draw conclusions that are representative of the community that they serve in. And you might miss out significant segments of the population if you put in that extra hurdle. And so this type of methodology is really commonly used in a whole slew of data collection efforts, including the Behavioral Risk Surveillance Survey, NHANES, the Community Population Survey, which is affiliated with the census. So all of these nationally representative data sets that are really important for us to sort of track epidemiological trends, but also evaluate policy in a way that's really meaningful and matters, use these types of data set with this type of methodology. And so an information sheet is typically provided. It gives folks the opportunity, but it doesn't require them the extra step of having to consent, like through the process. That way they can they can rescind their consent, which gives folks the opportunity to do that when that's their desire. So it is a methodology that's IRB approved.
Okay, seeing no other comments, or actually Representative Dauphiné, is your hand still up from the past, or you have another additional comment?
Just a quick comment. Okay. I thank Representative Linehan and Reps Foster for their input. I'm speaking on behalf of so many parents that have reached out to me with regard to transparency and understanding exactly what their children are given in school. And while it may not have been done in the past, and I can appreciate this change because it seems as though it's a positive one, I still think parents now more than ever are paying attention to what's going on, and they want to be aware of what their children are being asked, and they want to be giving permission, not having to to opt out. So that I just wanted to comment on that. And I was in public health, so I did hear the points that Rep Foster made, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good. Seeing no other comments, I guess we can't move this to the consent calendar. So Madam Clerk, can we do a roll call vote?
A motion has been made and seconded. Representative Linehan.
I'm sorry, this is being moved to consent?
No,
No, okay, sorry.
this consent, because I think Representative Dauphine, we've already consented on the consent.
We've consented on the consent. So now, now I will say Representative Linehan votes yes.
Recorded. Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Welander.
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphine.
Representative Dauphine votes no.
Senator Kelly. Representative Boyd.
Representative Boyd, aye.
Representative Comey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Foster.
Votes yes.
Representative Green.
Representative Green votes yes.
Representative Lanu.
Representative Lanu votes yes.
Senator Cohen. Senator Moore.
Senator Moore votes yes.
Representative Khan.
Representative Khan votes yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We'll keep the votes open until 4:30, and that time may change depending on how we take for the next three bills. The next item on the agenda is item number 6. I will entertain a motion to JF, Madam LCO. Can we use the term JF here, or should we just say HB 5153, Enact Concerning Children's Program?
Yes, the motion would be to JF.
Okay, so we'll entertain a motion to JF HB number 5153, Enact Concerning Children's Program. Do we have a motion? I will move. Is there a second?
I'll
Can I
second.
second
Senator
too?
Moore seconds.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, so any discussion?
Seconding.
And I can say that this is a shell bill. So I know the Representative Dauphine is going to say no to this, so we will take a vote on we will take a roll call vote. Is that fair, Representative Dauphine?
Yes.
Okay. All right. With that, can we have a roll call vote?
A motion has been made and seconded to JF agenda item number 6, Enact Concerning Children's Programs. Representative Linehan.
Representative Linehan votes yes.
Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Welander.
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphine.
Representative Dauphine votes no.
Senator Kelly. Representative Boyd.
Representative Boyd, aye.
Representative Comey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Foster.
Rep Foster votes yes.
Rep Green.
Representative Green votes no.
Rep Lanu.
Representative Lanu votes no.
Senator Cohen. Senator Moore.
Senator Moore votes yes.
Representative Khan.
Representative Khan votes yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, item number 8. We will entertain a motion to item number 8, SB 124, an act concerning children's services. I will move this, JF. Is there a second?
Second.
Anyone? Second, I think it's Rep. Foster.
Yep, that
is
was me.
second. Good. Perfect. And any comments? I would have the same comment, and Representative Dauphine would say at this time. Representative Dauphine, you say it better.
It's a placeholder, so I'll vote no.
Thank you, See, I told you, you say it better. You say it better. Okay. And with that, we will take a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
A motion has been made and seconded to JF, agenda item number 8, an act concerning children's services. Representative Linehan,
Representative Linehan votes yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Welander,
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphine,
Representative Dauphine votes no.
Senator Kelly, Representative Boyd,
Representative Boyd, aye.
Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Foster, Representative Green,
Representative Green votes no.
Representative Lanu,
Representative Lanu votes no.
Senator Cohen, Senator Moore,
Senator Moore votes yes.
my apologies, Senator, would you mind?
Senator Moore votes yes.
Got it. Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
got it. Thank you.
All right. This we'll keep the votes open till 4:30, and that timeline seems to be changing gradually. I was just informed by it. I have skipped item number 7. I was trying to get ahead of myself, and so I have item number 7 over here as well. We should have a different consent calendar, modified consent calendar. But we can entertain a motion to JFSB 125, an act concerning children's safety. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Seconded.
Comey.
Representative Comey, yes, Representative Comey and Representative Welander is seconded. And any discussion? Representative Dauphine.
This is a placeholder bill, as I understand it, correct, Senator? Yes.
Yes.
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Dauphine, for your consistent presence and your leadership. With that, I will, we'll take a roll call vote.
Motion has been made and seconded on to JF, agenda item number 7, an act concerning children's safety. Representative Linehan,
Representative Linehan votes yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
sorry, Senator.
Yes. Senator Anwar votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Welander,
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphine,
Representative Dauphine votes no.
sorry, Representative.
Representative Dauphine votes no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Kelly, Representative Boyd,
Representative Boyd, aye.
would you mind? Sorry, Rep Boyd. Everyone's getting cut off on their last word.
Representative Boyd, aye.
Thank you, sir. Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Foster,
Rep. Foster votes yes.
Representative Green,
Rep. Green votes no.
Representative Lanu,
Representative Lemieux votes no.
Senator Cohen, Senator Moore,
Senator Moore votes yes.
Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Representative Linehan,
Representative Linehan votes yes. Thank you.
Oh. Okay.
I should know, Chair, that I'm not voting twice. I was not on camera and I didn't want my vote not to be able to be recorded. So we did it again, but I'm not voting twice.
I am watching. Good. I was confused because right after Representative Khan, I'm ready for the next agenda item, and now I have to reboot the system. So next item on the agenda is item number 10. We will entertain a motion to JFS HB 5352, an act prohibiting the withholding of recess as a form of student discipline. JFS LCO language is 3307. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Madam Chair, thank you for moving it. And is there a second?
Second. I would like to
Second by
second Representative Comey.
Representative Comey seconds that. And we have, Madam Chair, do you want to give a brief background and then we can take the questions and comments?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So this bill actually, first of all, I would absolutely like to thank Representative Comey for bringing this to our attention. We appreciate you and your fight to help children. And also we'd like to thank Representative Lanu, who worked with us on this language. This is truly a bipartisan piece of legislation. And what we're doing now is the substitute language says that you cannot remove someone from recess for the purposes of discipline unless they are a danger to themselves or others, or there are 2 recess periods, and one of those recess periods is at least 20 minutes in length, which is what is in statute now, that they have to have at least 20 minutes. Just for the record, I'm going to state that's far too little time. And then secondly, or thirdly, rather, that it needs to distinguish between discipline imposed prior to the start time devoted to physical exercise and discipline imposed during such time devoted to physical exercise. And that's just kind of a legal clunky way of saying if a kid is misbehaving on the playground, it is okay to take them out of the play for a little bit. It's kind of like what you get when, if in dodgeball, you throw the ball too hard at someone's head, you're pulled out of the game for a little bit. That's going to continue to be okay. I know that because I've been hit in the head before during dodgeball, which might explain a lot. And additionally, we say that it does not, that this cannot be done more than once a week, because it still is extremely important that children get outside for free play. And we also thank you to Representative Lanu. We have added the provision that such prevention or restriction, if a student does not complete such student's work on time, or for such students' academic performance, that is also prohibited. So that is essentially the changes. And I hope that we have a lot of discussion, positive discussion, but Mr. Chair, I am available for any questions should they be needed.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. Representative Dauphine.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you, Representative Linehan. I know that you did a lot of work on this and did work with some of the members very hard to make this what it is right now. My objection to this bill is that I still believe this should be handled on a local level by parents in the community and the local boards of eds and the teachers' involvement in the particular schools. So that's why I'm a no on this. I just think this should be a local decision and not a statewide mandate. And I thank you.
Thank you, Representative Dauphine. Representative Lanu. Representative Lanu, you're not muted, unmuted, sorry.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. When I first ran for state representative and during my tenure, excuse me, I'm trying to turn my hand off here. Excuse me for 1 second here. Oh, my goodness.
It will go away on its own if you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I felt loved. Anyways, well, when I first ran and during my tenure as a rep, two issues I've always tried to adhere to. Number one is I believe in local control. I'm a local control guy. I don't believe in the state trying to tell local municipalities what to do. The other was I always pledged I don't want to make this about me. I don't want to be self-serving. And on this, I feel my seat belongs to the people of the 45th, not me personally. But on this bill, I'm going to do a little bit of both. First, when I first saw the concept being raised this session, it brought back a flood of memories very, very quickly. And it brought me back to a time when I was in elementary school. And I'd just be very, very clear for the record, I had a very, very good experience in my childhood education. But like anything, there's, I guess, bumps in the road and nothing's perfect. And when I was in elementary school, there was a concept I was struggling with greatly, and that was compound multiplication tables. And I remember very distinctly now after seeing this concept. And I was struggling with it. I was falling behind in the subject. And I remind you, this is grammar school. And I wasn't getting it. And the teacher kept me in for recess several times. I was precluded from going out, and I was continuing to struggle. And through the lens of a 10-year-old child, you're thinking you're doing something wrong. You're somehow misbehaving. There's something wrong with you. You're being punished. And I remember very distinctly being in the class, really proverbially banging my head against the wall, just struggling with this concept while I'm hearing my classmates outside having fun, playing, and I want to be out there. And I felt there was something wrong with me because I'm not out there. And and unfortunately, I had parents, I had the mother and father who loved me greatly and advocated for me and was able to speak on my behalf and eventually got me outside. But during that time, when that fight was being had, I was still feeling the brunt of it, being kept in the class because I was continuing not being able to finish the assignment. What I think it would have required was simply some tutoring before or after school, and that would have taken care of it. But it was at the time I always felt that maybe someday I would be in a position to. It really, to put it bluntly, it sucked, and I was thinking maybe someday I'll be in a position where I can do something about that when I'm an adult. And well, I think today's the day. And I think we have an opportunity here to do something about it. And there's no way I can not vote for this. And in fact, I'm proud to vote for it and support it. I do understand those who see it differently, and I respect my colleagues who have a different viewpoint. But I want to thank everybody for their understanding. The offline conversations I had with many, they understand where I'm coming from, and I really appreciate that. But for those reasons, I'm going to be supporting this bill. And I want to thank Representative Linehan for working with me on the language on this, and Representative Comey for bringing the concept forward and bringing this to our attention. So, and I really appreciate the committee on this bill, and I will be supporting it today, and I fully intend on supporting it on the House floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Lanu. Thank you for sharing your experience, and thank you for not naming the teacher. And thank you for your work, and that little love sign that came up. It was for a good reason. Yes, it was a good reason. So in your honor, I'm just going to do that. I didn't even know that was there, so I'm just going to do it again in your honor for your beautiful speech. And we'll have Representative Boyd. Who's next?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I struggle with this for a couple of reasons, and some of the best teaching years that I had. I work with high schoolers now, was with second grade and fifth grade. Like there's an awesome quality to second graders and fifth graders that somehow disappears by the time they become seniors in high school. And I recognize wholly the need for kids not to be locked in a school all day, just moving rooms, and the need to get outside, the need to move around, and all of that. And I get that, and I support that. But I do struggle because, in effect, we're questioning the judgment of educational leaders, right? So, it takes a special type of person, particularly to be an elementary school teacher. It does. You need to have patience, you need to have understanding, and you need to be creative. And I think that most elementary school teachers, and by the time you become principals and administrators, you build a pretty deep toolbox to how to deal with really odd situations and really tough things. Kids developmentally are really a really tough spot. And I trust their judgment, right? I would question a school leader if their go-to for almost any discipline thing was, you don't get recess, right? There are other ways to do stuff, but that is one tool. And I certainly recognize and appreciate the kind of the narrowing the language to be around safety concerns and stuff. But it is hard for us to anticipate every single situation that a teacher or a principal has to deal with. And to put a prohibition there when we have checks and balances, that if an administrator is not being thoughtful and not giving kids time outside and not using all kind of tools in their toolbox to curtail bad behavior, then the credentials and the effectiveness of that administrator or teacher needs to be brought into account. And there are methods for that. But my experience has been, by and large, teachers and principals have good judgment. And there may have been some cases that have come up, and I read through the testimony on this, and there's a lot of kind of anecdotal reasons why, and I agree with kids need to be outside and all stuff, but there's not data that's pointing to saying that this is a big problem in the state of Connecticut. And for that, when we go to committee, we get to the floor, I certainly will give Representative Linehan and Representative Lanu every opportunity to convince me otherwise. But at this point, I don't want to be, I'm not in a position to judge the effectiveness or the lack of thoughtfulness on the part of teachers and elementary school principals, because I think by and large, they're doing a good job supporting kids where they need to be, holding them accountable and teaching them and using those teachable moments so that they develop into, really good young adults. And by the time that I get them in high school. So I can't support it today, but I will give every opportunity for somebody to convince me otherwise. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Boyd. I have Representative Wieslander.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will say that Representative Boyd did share some of my thoughts. I will also say that I'm very pleased to see the changes that were made from the original bill. I am a firm and staunch supporter of our public school teachers and want to make sure that they have the support and the resources and the tools and the freedom to teach in a way that best serves all of our children. That being said, I am a huge fan of recess. I think that physical activity is something that prevents behavior concerns in classrooms from increasing from getting worse. And it allows for a break to get those wiggles out, especially for our little ones to reset so they are ready to learn and apply themselves academically. And in fact, and I said this at our public hearing, that if we could extend recess through middle school, I would do that, because I think our kids are not done growing in 7th and 8th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they need that time for movement as well. I do still have some reservations about how this can be implemented in our schools, but I will be supporting this today. And I do thank everyone who is working on this, because recess should not be used as a punishment. But as long as we can move forward so our schools and our teachers feel supported and our kids have access to the play that they need, I think that we can hopefully find a balance. But I look forward to the continuing discussion on this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Welander and Representative Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for calling on me. I would just like to say that during the public hearing around this bill, I had reservations, not because I don't believe in the resounding amount of evidence that supports that recess is an incredibly necessary occasion at every school day for children to get their energy out, to have academic success and better behavioral outcomes when they have recess. I think that the evidence around recess is an important part of every day is important. In fact, my former academic life, the Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity, uses requiring recess and not removing it as a punishment as part of their gold standard health and wellness policies. I was apprehensive about a moment where we might make teachers feel like we were hamstringing their tool belt while we were legislating this year in so many ways with the goals to help them. That being said, in the weeks since we've had our public hearing, I've had a lot of conversations with teachers in the districts about this policy in particular. And the overwhelming sentiment was that it would do nothing to change their practice, because this is something that they're feeling really confident in doing already, and that they would be upset to know that other teachers in other places were doing that they wholeheartedly supported this not being a tool in the arsenal of a teacher's tool belt, that some of them had made adjustments when local policies had changed around this issue or local recommendations and guidance had changed. But after that change was made, that they were happy with the outcomes that they have seen. And a lot of the teachers that I spoke to, this is part of their philosophy, their educational philosophy for how they feel like they should be shaping the minds of our young people, especially in these incredibly formative years. So I feel comfortable with these changes, and also incredibly moved by Representative Lanew's sharing of his experiences, because I think that there's probably a lot of kids who feel like that now, and who benefit from teachers shifted pedagogy around teaching and about how recess fits into every day. And so I will be voting this out of committee, and I'll be watching and listening to teachers in the district to see how folks are feeling around the issue. But I'm happy and comfortable voting it out of committee today, because I think that it fits with my philosophies and our district as a whole as well. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about this today, and thank you to Representative Comey for raising it.
Thank you, Representative Comey.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank the committee leadership for being attentive to this issue and being willing to have this discussion. Part of my intent in raising this bill was to be able to have these important discussions. And I certainly understand, I don't want to present as someone that I don't trust the teachers or I don't trust the administrators, because I do intently trust them. I just want to make sure that, the policy that they're seeing at their district level is strong, and that the guidance that we're giving them is going to be most supportive to our kids at these crucial times that we're going through right now. Now, what I am committed to doing is really continuing the conversation on what can we do. If withholding recess is a tool in their tool belt, maybe we can work together to find some more tools and what can we do instead? So I'm committed to working with some colleagues here at the Yale Child Study Center and talking about what sort of resources. And I think this boils down to a lot of what we're doing with our social emotional work and some of our other work that we're doing, taking care of the mental health of our children, is to understand the whole child and to understand that the body is connected to the mind and is connected to to outcomes and better outcomes. So I just, we're going to continue this conversation. I thank Representative Linu for sharing his story. We all have, experienced some tough stuff, and certainly those memories stick with us, and that's part of my point. So I thank you for raising this bill, and I look forward to continuing to work on this and have some conversations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Khan.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring up a brief point that I know that when I've been in study circles that look at discipline across schools, often we found that students of color are most affected by some of these policies, and especially withholding of certain activities, and just knowing the benefits of recess, especially on students' mental health and physical health. I think, having this across the board, and I agree with, I think the person that made the comment that majority of teachers do already, follow this, that they're not withholding it. But I think, this is something that does happen, and having it be a universal way to address or prevent something like this from happening, I would like to see that. So I will be supporting. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. I will just make a couple of comments myself as well. Look, the American Association of Pediatrics came up with this official position many years ago that this is recommended. The reason is that there are emotional as well as physical benefits, short-term and long-term, and why it has been recommended. And while there are tools that some people may use this as a tool, there could be better tools in this that can be used, which do not have long-term implications on the well-being of a child. So that's how I see it in a very simplistic words, but I know Representative Linehan can say that even far better with more depth of understanding. Representative Linehan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair. And actually, Mr. Co-Chair, you did mention one of the things that I had said, that the American Academy of Pediatrics has a position statement on this, that absolutely recess should never be taken away as discipline, a form of discipline. But I also wanted to mention that this new language is supported by the Connecticut Education Association, CEA. And I think that was really important, because we're talking a lot about we don't want to hamstring teachers, but we're not. And additionally, beyond that, both SB2, which we just voted on now, and 5001 are giving extra supports to teachers in the classroom and to kids for their mental health. So if someone even really, I completely disagree with the premise that we are taking away a useful tool. But even if you were to say that, on the other hand, we're adding many others, including millions of dollars going towards mental health professionals in schools. So that needs to be noted for certain. But there's something I always want to point out, that there's more to it than that. Social emotional is really important. But I talk to a lot of people who say, it's just recess. But the thing is, it's not just recess. And excuse me, there have been studies that show that the shorter that recess got, the more incidences of ADD and ADHD came about. And here is the reason why. In recess, it allows children to run, jump, play, and roll around, swing on swings. Those are all things that actually help build your vestibular system. It has been proven that children with weak vestibular systems and weak cores actually have a higher prevalence of ADD and ADHD. So we're talking about, if we're looking ultimately at kids being able to learn and having good behavior in the classroom. We always think about recess as getting your wiggles out, getting some energy out, or taking a brain break. But there's actually also, when we're talking about these young children, there is a biological reason as to why they need to take those breaks. And there was actually even a study, and I will try to find it actually. Maybe Jamie, you have PubMed now still, right? Maybe you could find it for me. That actually said that once kids spent more time doing those things, swinging on swings, rolling around, and being able to strengthen their core, that they actually they were able to get off ADD and ADHD medications. So now that we're even looking at an over-medicated society, especially with our children, I know a lot of us are saying that, we need to start thinking about better ways to have children grow up. And recess, this is such an easy bill that would actually have such greater implications down the road that maybe you don't recognize. And there's so many people that think it's just about fun and games, but it truly is more than that. So thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you. You'll hear some background noise. We are multitasking. Bear with me for that. All right. So while we're talking about recess, I just want to mention that after this vote, we will be in recess, and that recess will be for about an hour. And that is for the people who are in multiple other meetings, that they can come and vote. And so the vote is not on that recess. The vote is on the item number 10. And so, Madam, actually, Representative Dauphinais, you're unmuted. Did you want to comment again?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, go ahead and we can do the roll call vote.
A motion has been made and seconded on agenda item number 10, an act prohibiting the withholding of recess as a form of student discipline. Representative Linehan.
Representative Linehan votes yes.
Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Welander.
Representative Welander votes yes.
Representative Dauphinais.
Representative Dauphinais votes no.
Senator Kelly. Representative Boyd.
Representative Boyd, no.
Representative Comey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
Would you repeat, please, Representative?
Sure. Representative Comey votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Foster.
Votes yes.
Woo. Representative Green.
Rep. Green votes no.
Rep. Lanu.
Representative Lanu votes yes.
Senator Cohen. Senator Moore.
Senator Moore votes yes.
Representative Khan.
Representative Khan votes yes.
Would you repeat, please, Representative?
Yes. Representative Khan votes yes.
Thank you.
All right. That brings us to the point of saying that we have finished all of the votes that for the people who are here, because people are in other meetings. We are going to keep the votes open till 5:40 p.m. and we will be in recess till 5:40 p.m. and after that we will be able to adjourn the meeting. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you.
Is that a true statement that we are burning fuel?
Senator Kelly, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Excellent. I have a whole stack of votes if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. First, we voted on agenda item number 1, which is Senate Bill 2.
Yes.
Thank you. You were here for that one. I apologize.
Yeah, I was there for that one in the consent calendar.
Excellent.
So I think we pick up on 3.
Perfect. Calendar, you're done with that. Item number 3, Bill 5243.
Yes.
Number 6, which is 5153.
Yes.
Agenda item number 7, Senate Bill 125.
Yes.
Agenda item number 8, which is Senate Bill 124.
Yes.
And our last, which is agenda item number 10. Sorry, Senator, can you still hear me okay?
Yep.
All right.
Quite all right.
Lively room over here.
Yes, it is.
Agenda item number 10, which is recess.
Yeah, HB 5352.
Yes.
Yes.
Recorded. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
the market in year 2, they wouldn't get any of their remaining 4 years back.
Yeah, they either get a 1 year or 5.
Hi, Jean.
Right, that's the way I look.
Yeah, current law is.
Hi, Senator. How are you? Good. Hold on one second. I have this volume turned down, my other volume turned up too high.
Sam, I just fixed that, so I apologize. I didn't hear you at first. You have a little list of votes to take from you. Do you have an agenda accessible, or do you like me to read the whole title? I can do that.
You don't have to read the titles. I'm actually, I don't know, are you required to go through each one? Because I'm a yes on all of them, but I just don't know if you're required to go through because we're online here.
I am uncertain, but I'm going to find out. For this time, since I'm not sure, I'm afraid I should probably at least say the agenda item.
Sure.
And have your face on video, just to cover ourselves. The first
Good idea.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate your patience. The first vote was on Senate Bill 2, agenda item number 1.
Yeah, I'm a yes. You want me to say Senator Cohen votes yes, or is that?
No, thank you. We can see your face. I need to see your face at the same time as your words are coming out of your mouth. That's literally what it is. Then we had a consent calendar on agenda items 2, 4, 5, 9, and 11.
Okay, I'm a yes on the consent calendar.
Then we have agenda item number 3.
Sexual misconduct, yes, I'm a yes.
Thank you. Representative Linehan is right here. You can hear her talking. I just want to confirm with this. We did the consent, then 3 and 1. Now we're on item number 6, and that's children's programs.
I'm a yes.
Number 7, children's safety.
That's a yes.
Number 8, children's services.
That's a yes.
And the last remaining non-consent calendar was item number 10, which is the recess bill.
I'm a yes.
Thank you. Let's find the right sheet. There we go. Okay. Thank you very much, Senator. You are all set. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jean. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.